Louisiana Beer Reviews, Founders, KBS Spicy Chocolate. This is using barley malt. They said oaks, but I think they meant oats, not oaks. And chocolate malt. The hops are Willamette and I didn't write it down because I thought I would remember. Willamette and another common hop. I'll put it in the description below. It just slipped my mind. I usually remember these things. Oh well, KBS, the Amazing Cosmickies, KBS Spicy Chocolate, introduced in 2023. 12% alcohol, 45 bitterness units. Bottled December 27, 2023. I bought this at the Red, White, and Brew in Hammond, Louisiana, U.S. Highway 190, westbound. Barrel-aged imperial stout with coffee, chocolate syrup, and chili peppers. Okay, I like all those things. I had a chili pepper yesterday from Church's, a jalapeno pepper. KBS Spicy Chocolate is a blend of sweet and spicy that come together like a sensory symphony. This batch of KBS is made with dried chilies and chocolate for a rich mole-inspired punch of flavors. Expect dark chocolate and dried peppers with hints of smoke and a spicy finish that lingers just long enough to be cooled by your next sip. A unique and unexpected twist to our KBS. It was $5.99 for this bottle, $5.99. Alright, I see there's some nice smoke. There's some video reviews. Now there's one that's an hour long. I don't know what that's about. A lot of times they use that as a vehicle to get you to listen, and it be 1% talking about the beer and 99% about other topics of the day. So I'll just skip through that if that's what it is. A beige medium head in this snifter glass, and very dark brown, nearly black. It looks black on this dry, sunny, very quickly warming day. It was cold this morning, 52 degrees, but it's every hour it's going up, up, up. Okay, so I'm looking forward to this. Still bothers me, I can't remember that other hop, but I'll post it below. Yeah, there's a little chili pepper in the nose. I'm getting it in my nose. Chocolate, maybe, but really I'm picking up just bread, dark bread crust, brown bread crust, let's say brown bread crust and chili pepper. Yeah, well, it smells pretty good. Doesn't smell great though. The appearance is nice. The aroma's kind of vegetal. I don't know. It's not the best aroma, so I would give the aroma like a C. Like, it's okay. I'm not gonna say it's a good aroma, but maybe the flavor is dynamite. Gets a 91 out of 100 on Beer Advocate. So remember that. 81 out of 100 on Untappd, which makes sense because Untappd usually is 10 points behind Beer Advocate, but they'll be expressing the same sentiment about the beer, which Beer Advocate's calling excellent. 91, excellent. All right. I think it might be Cascade and Willamette. I think that's what it is. Cascade and Willamette hops. All right, taste. Cheers. So, a 12% stout at 8 a.m. Well, I can do it. I don't recommend it, but I can do it. Chocolate syrup. Tastes more like chocolate syrup, maybe like Hershey's chocolate syrup than the chocolate bars. Little dark coffee, yeah. Brown bread crust. They're saying it has chili pepper. Okay, I guess there's some dried chili pepper. I thought the one, the Jocoveza from Lagunitas, no, Stone. Ooh, California based, but as Stone Jocoveza, right? Yeah. I thought that was really great. It had some spiciness from the pepper. This one just gives vegetative qualities from the pepper. But you know, all chili peppers are not hot. They just, some taste just vegetal. And that could be the type they use. Oh, they're showing chipotle peppers. Looks like a jalapeno to me. Could be wrong, but looks like jalapenos, which are hot. I mean, the one I had at Church's yesterday was pretty hot. Not profoundly so, but you know, had some heat to it. It was, I could feel it burning in my insides later. This one is. Hey, well, they tried it, you know. Now the one they made from the one that Dos Equis Heineken Mexico made, Huatamoc Moctezuma, they made one years ago called Dos Equis Pale Ale. You saying Pale Ale? Okay, but yeah, but that one was made with chili peppers of all things, and they called it Fire Ant Tears, which I guess is some nickname for a type of pretty hot chili pepper, because when you first sipped it, it was like, no, it's not too hot, and then you could feel it. It's burning in the back of your throat. And that was a great one, but it didn't last too long, and they never brought it back. I do wish they would. Heavy-bodied? No. This is not heavy-bodied. A lot of stouts these days are strange. Like, they're thin like porters. It's the thing we've been noticing. Me and other beer tasters have been noticing the last 5-6 years, maybe. It's strange. I'm not saying stouts were ever thick. They usually weren't. But they seem unusually thin today. And I don't know if you're watching, if you could explain that or what's going on. That they're mostly like porters. I know all stouts are porters. Stout porter. Just like all bourbon is a type of whiskey, all stouts are a type of porter, all tequila is a type of mezcal, Pilsner is a type of lager, but all porters are not ales, because there's a type of porter called Baltic porter, which is actually a lager, which would never be a stout. Although it could essentially be a stout, you know, in a practical sense, those imperial porters, which sometimes are 13%. It's a pretty stout, light beer, right? Light body beer. But that's a sort of becomes an ambiguous thing. But this one's hard to deal with because of the vegetable quality, like bell pepper, but it doesn't have that. Bell pepper has a spice which is not related to heat, just has a spiciness, like a thing which when I was a little kid, I couldn't stand bell peppers. It was like, oh, yeah, but when you're a little kid, you don't like the same food. When you're older, your taste develop. Now I love bell peppers. I don't get enough of them, you know. I don't ever get weary of them. So this one, yeah, oh yeah, what about the smokiness? I'm not tasting any smokiness. I'm not smelling any. I'm not tasting any. I don't know what kind of barrels. They don't say. Like, there might be some backdoor, like, news release, something about it, what barrels they're using. I don't know if they're using bourbon barrels. I don't know if they're using rye barrels. Usually they'll tout that. I don't know if they're using brandy barrels, rum barrels. We do not know. I think a lot of times they'll go with Heaven Hill because I guess they just get a good deal with them. You know, they've been working together for a long time and just say, yeah, stick with us, make you the best deal on the barrels. Could be something like that. But I mean, really, it could be coming from Glenmore Distilling in Owensboro, Kentucky, Barton 1792 Distillery in Owensboro, Bardstown, Kentucky. Could be Blenheim Distillery, which is a Heaven Hill one. Could be Buffalo Trace. Sazerac owns that. Who knows? It could be Four Roses. What, in Versailles? I think it's Versailles, Kentucky. Could be Jim Beam barrels. There's a lot of possibilities. Could be Jack Daniels barrels. George Dickel barrels. Could be doggone barrels from Midwest Grain Products, MGP in Indiana. They age a lot of whiskey there, boy. Ooh-wee. Could be McCormick, Weston, Missouri. Yeah, could be. Could be. Probably isn't, but it could be, you know. So I'm not going to sit there and just try to guess all the barrels. Oh, man. I think this one has to grow on you a little bit. Can't be rushed on this one. There's sort of a dry chalkiness. I don't mean necessarily like these high gravity lagers that if they're like 8 to 10%, oh man, they could have and especially when they get to 10%, they could have a weird chalkiness. And once they get above 10, it's just chalk. Give you the frisson, the willies. But ales usually don't have that, but they'll sometimes evidence it. But man, if you get sometimes a natty daddy, and that's only 8. Drink a 24-ounce can and see about a 25-ounce can, right? And see if it's only 8. But they'll have a chalky mouthfeel. Get next to you, you know. 91. I think 91 is fair. Anything below that would be insanity. But I mean, Untapped's. Remember, Untapped's 81 is a 91 in our minds, the Beer Advocate protocol, because people that's been reviewing beer. I've been doing written reviews. I always do written reviews for any beer I try, unless I can't find a listing for it. But since 2009, and I did informal reviews since 1996. When I started tasting beer in February 96, I just would like mentally think about the beer and give a rating. You know, I didn't have the internet then. There really wasn't much of an internet then, although that was starting to get developed, because I think Beer Advocate started in 96. But I would just go to the library and use their computers. And I did use them because I remember I contacted in 97 Pabst Brewing Company, but they never sent anything. I said, could you send me information on your beer? They didn't even respond because they were so kind of screwed up then. Oh, later on they did send me some bumper stickers, a hat, a t-shirt, and some other little items, but they didn't send me what I was looking for, which was a portfolio of all their products. I really wanted a brochure with, like, say, here's what we make and the ABV and so forth, but they didn't send me that. I wasn't asking for a t-shirt. So they were like, wow, you like our beer? And like they were shocked that somebody would send them an email, I guess, that they liked their beer. But that was like in 03. But I contacted Anheuser-Busch. They sent me the brochure, the booklet, comprehensive. Still have it. Stroh's sent me everything. Then they got bought out by Pabst. Coors sent me a little small packet, but it gave the ABV. It was a fold out. Gave everything. as of the year 2000. Miller, back then it was just Miller, it wasn't SAB Miller. They sent me a big booklet, all kind of stuff. It was funny that Stroh's sent me all that stuff. They even sent me copies of magazines, Brewing, Beverage, the Beverage magazine, and Brewing Age, or whatever those were. And it was funny because it was saying in the magazine, they sent it to me. It was saying, yeah, Stroh's is trying to catch on or make it in this world of the late 90s, but the magazines were basically saying it's not really working, that the sales are not good. And they had distributors reporting back to Brewing Age, saying they were saying, we're not trying to keep that stuff off the shelf. Nobody buys it. Like, we don't put all this on the shelf and then it just sits there, you know. And they sent that to me, you know, knowing it was in there. It's funny because 3 years later they got bought out. 2 years later they got bought out. And then I started contacting beer. And then later when I would contact brewing companies and say, can you send me information? They would say, just look at the website. That was like around 2003. They always say, just look at the website. They never sent anything else. Had I known about these things or thought about it in '82, I would have written to all the brewing companies in 1982 as a 14-year-old and requested information. I didn't drink beer as a 14-year-old. I didn't drink beer as a 24-year-old. I had no interest in beer, wine, or liquor, honestly. I didn't start drinking any kind of alcohol till like 94 with those dessert wines, which I thought were interesting. Would dabble with them, and the lady that was here would dabble. So, and I said, oh, beer. But then in February '96, I said, I don't know, people are always talking about beer. Every time I turn around, they say beer, beer, beer. I said, okay, let me go to the store and I'll buy some beer and I'll try it. We'll see. So I bought Miller High Life, a 6-pack of the little ponies, you know, the 7.5 ounce. I think it was an 8-pack. It was like $1.99. The price is going up for those. And I tried them and I thought, I could be interested in this. I would like to try. It reminded me of being 3 years old and sipping from my parents' beer bottles, because when they would have, like on a patio out here, they would have like barbecues, cookouts, and they would be sipping Miller High. Usually they would sip either Miller High Life, Dixie beer from New Orleans, or Schlitz beer, probably from Memphis at that time. That's what they would drink, and so they would let me sip it. And I remember liking it so much, like as a 3-year-old or 2-year-old. Oh, it tastes so good, you know, in the heat. And then I didn't really go back to it, except for a moment in the mid-'80s, just trying them. And I didn't like Miller High Life. Miller Lite. I thought it was hollow. I remember thinking something missing in this beer. It's like it's hollowed out. Of course, that was what it was, you know. But then '96 is when I started this project, and I've been continuing at it since then. And somebody said, didn't you ever skip a day? And I thought about that, and I said, I don't think actually I ever have actually skipped a day since February '96. But it's possible. There could have been a day or two that I didn't taste any beer, but I don't think there was. But it's possible. My memory is not perfect. Yeah, so this beer, I'm starting to pick up a little, as it warms, I'm picking up a little barrel. It does taste like bourbon barrel though. Like, could be Heaven Hill. So, this one you gotta be taking your time with it, and this video is long, but you gotta take your time and say, let me sip on it, let it warm. Not get hot, of course, but let it warm. And I think you could bring it down, you could pin it down to like around about a 94. think a 94 is fair. Is it most excellent? Yes. Is it outstanding, like 98, 99, 100? No, it isn't that good. It's certainly not world class above 100 in my book, in my booklet, my scale. But I've rarely ever found beers that were above 100. But it's nice. $5.99. $23.96 for a 4-pack. I mean, I don't know about all that. It's how you want to approach it, right? So I figured buying one bottle wouldn't be that big of a sacrifice. So yeah, I get sometimes beers for $1.99 a can that are 94 though, to tell you the truth. But anyway, 94 out of 100, a most excellent, but sort of problematic ale stout. And I'm going to end this review by saying y'all go to Michigan and take a Founders Brewery tour. I'm sorry about that siren that started going off.